Hello, America, and to our friends around the world, greetings and welcome back. We're on chapter 5. Chapter 5. We're not quite halfway through, but we're getting almost close to halfway through. Of What Everybody is Saying, An Ex-FBI Agent's Guide to Speed Reading People by Joe Navarro. All right, so excuse me, we just completed chapter 4, dealing with the torso. Now we're going to move into chapter 5, the verbals nonverbals of the arms. And I made a quip about, making inappropriate gestures and such, and reference to the Naked Gun movie. So let's go with knowledge within reach, nonverbals of the arms. In terms of observing body language, the arms are largely underappreciated. We typically place much more emphasis on the face and hands when seeking to read nonverbal behavior. As a side note, Dr. Paul Ekman, before he did his work into the microexpressions, he felt that studying hands was the thing, but it was a DARPA or ARPA money that was available that had already been allocated, but the project fell through, and so it was there to be used, but it had to be done on facial features. So apparently the government knew something that Dr. Ekman didn't know, and that's how come he became the pioneer in microexpression uh, studies, is because of DARPA, ARPA, one of those, advanced research project things. All right, so in observing for signs of comfort, discomfort, confidence, or other displays of feeling, the arms serve well as emotive transmitters. And I've made reference to this. There's If you look online on police videos, you'll find that they will interact with somebody and they'll begin moving their arms rapidly to stimulate blood flow. These are arm indicators. They're nonverbals. They're indicators of impending violence. Since the time our primate ancestors began to walk upright, human arms were free to be used in remarkable ways. Our arms are able to carry loads, cast blows, grasp objects, and lift us off the ground. They are streamlined, agile, and provide a formidable first response to any outside threat, especially when used in conjunction with the lower limbs. If someone throws an object at us, our arms rise to block it instinctively and accurately. Our arms, like our feet and legs, are so reactive and so oriented to protect us that they will rise up to defend us even when doing so is illogical or ill advised. In my work in the FBI, I have seen individuals shot in the arm as they use their upper limbs in an attempt to defend themselves from handgun fire. The thinking brain would realize that an arm simply cannot stop a bullet, yet the limbic brain will cause our arms to lift and precisely block a projectile traveling at 900 feet per second. In forensic science, such injuries are known as defense wounds. Every time you bump your arm, especially if you run into something sharp, consider that it may have just protected your torso from a potentially lethal blow. Once, while holding an umbrella above my head during a Florida rainstorm, the sharp edge of my car door swung back on me and struck me in the side, breaking a rib that was left unprotected by my upraised arm. Since that time, I have a painful memory that reminds me to appreciate my arms and how they protect me. Because our arms, like our feet, are designed to assist with our survival, they can be counted upon to reveal true sentiments or intentions. Therefore, unlike the more variable and deceptive face, the upper limbs provide solid nonverbal cues that more accurately portray what we and those around us are thinking, feeling, or intending. In this chapter, we'll examine the interpretation of some of the most common arm displays. And want to throw in there that former ATF agent, alcohol, tobacco, firearms. It should be a convenience store. Janine Driver, in her book on body language, recommends video recording yourself for, I believe it was an hour, maybe it was 2 hours. It's been well over 10, maybe 15 years since I read the book. But to video record yourself on a day off that you have nothing, but just normal things you're doing, watching TV, reading a book, doing simple chores, and observe what you do. And this would be a good place to observe the nonverbals which your arms are demonstrating. So the first subtopic chapter is significant nonverbal behaviors involving the arms, gravity-related arm movements. The degree to which we move our arms is a significant and accurate indicator of our attitudes and sentiments. These movements can range from subdued, restrained, and constricted to exuberant, unrestrained, and expansive. As a personal anecdote, um, never really liked heights. So I've always been leery of roller coasters. So it wasn't until I was a young adult that I went on the real roller coasters. Long story short, went on one called a Rebel Yell, and as it crested the top and it did its deep drop, arms went up, and a yell of excitement came forth from me. And it wasn't just because of the rapid drop of the car, it was also because of my excitement of being experiencing that event. Yeah, and perhaps you've had something similar. Uh, Another time, I dropped my motorcycle on an interstate highway, and somebody nearly clipped me on a rainy day. But this time, instead of putting my arms up, I kept them locked on the handlebars and rode the bike down about 100 feet on the pavement. I was very happy I had my leather coat on at the time because I think my shoulder would still have no feeling otherwise. But after about 4 years, it came back. But yeah, the arms do different things, and as he said, defense wounds are because it's just a limbic response. Other times, it's a thought response of survival. Just something to throw in there. Their arms are more effortless. Let's see. Um, when we are happy and content, our arms move freely, even joyfully. So think of little kids, when they're running around playing chase, tag, and their arms are parallel with the ground or even up, frantically moving about. That's the excitement, the fun. Their arms, we are happy, content, our arms move freely, even joyfully. Watch children at play. Their arms move effortlessly while they interact. You will see them pointing, just gesticulating, holding, lifting, hugging, and waving. When excited, we don't restrict our arm movements. In fact, our natural tendency is to defy gravity and raise our arms high above our heads. C box 20. Oh, okay. All right. So when people are truly energized and happy, their arm motions by gravity, as previously mentioned, gravity defying behaviors are associated with positive feelings. When a person feels good or confident, he swings his arms affirmatively, such as while walking. It is the insecure person who subconsciously restrains his arms, seemingly unable to defy the weight of gravity. Candidly tell a colleague about a drastic and costly mistake she just made at work, and her shoulders and arms will sink down and droop. Ever have that sinking feeling? It's a limbic response to a negative event. Negative emotions bring us down physically. Not only are these limbic responses honest, but they happen in real time. We leap and thrust our arms in the air the moment the point is scored on our shoulders and arms sink or our shoulders and arms sink when a referee rules against us. These gravity related behaviors communicate emotions accurately and at the precise moment we are affected. Further, these physical manifestations can be contagious whether at a football stadium, a rock concert, or in a gathering of great friends. As a corollary, the work done by Dr. Ekman with the facial microexpressions that he did, and I've incorporated the action units into other body language videos. If you isolate those specific muscles, you will trigger that emotional response. And that's what the research has demonstrated. And um, anecdotally, that is what Joe Navarro is providing here, that not just microexpression muscles, not just the facial not only are the facial muscles that are displayed able to trigger an emotional feeling in you, and the emotional feeling able to prompt the emotional display on your face, but the rest of your body apparently is also tied in to your limbic system in a way that it either has you feel that emotion, or that emotion that you're feeling is physiologically manifested. A lot of words for saying it's not just your face, it's your whole body that radiates your emotional state. All right, so box insert 27. Get your hands in the air. You don't need a gun to get people to raise their hands above their heads. Make them happy and they'll do it automatically. In fact, during a holdup is probably the only time individuals will simultaneously keep their hands high and be unhappy. Think of how athletes exchange high fives after a good play. Watch football fans raise their arms skyward after the hometown team scores a touchdown. Gravity defying arm actions are a common response to joy and excitement. Whether in Brazil, Belize, Belgium, or Botswana, arm waving is a truly universal display of how elated we feel. Next subtopic, arm withdrawal. When we are upset or fearful, we withdraw our arms. In fact, when we are injured, threatened, abused, or worried, our arms come straight to our sides, or they close our chest. This is a survival tactic that helps protect the individual when a real or perceived danger is sensed. Take, for instance, the mother who is worried about her son while he's playing with rougher children. She will often cross her arms and fold them across her abdomen. She wants to intervene but stands aside and restrains herself by holding her arms, hoping the play proceeds without injury. When two people are arguing, they may both engage in this arm withdrawal behavior, a very protective behavior of which neither party may be aware. This restraint has survival value. It protects the body while presenting a non provocative position. In essence, they are holding themselves back, since extending the arms might be construed as an attempt to strike and injure the other party, causing a fight to ensue. Self restraint can assist us not only in dealing with others, but also in dealing with ourselves when we need to be comforted. I'm having difficulty reading tonight. Apologize. For instance, injuries or pain in the torso and arms often cause us to restrict arm movement in an attempt to self-soothe or pacify. We may withdraw the arms toward the painful body region. If you have ever experienced severe intestinal distress, your arms were most likely drawn to your abdomen for comfort. At moments like this, the arms don't move outward. The limbic system requires that they attend to our needs closer to home. All right, I'm going to conclude there. We're going to pick up with restriction of arm movement next.